Ready for another deep dive? This time, we're heading into the world of animated fantasy with a touch of Chinese mythology.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, we're taking a look at The Tiger's Apprentice, a brand new movie.
Okay, I'm familiar with the book
Hmm?
by Laurence Kidd. Yep, right.
You got it.
Interesting to see it adapted for the screen.
Exactly, and we've got a great review to guide us through this deep dive, courtesy of MoviePticket.com. They really break down the animation, the story, and even touch on the film's cultural resonance.
Yeah, blending cultures and storytelling is always a fascinating element.
Totally. And it sounds like this movie really dives into that.
Yeah.
Speaking of diving in, MovieKeyTicket.com had a lot to say about the visuals. They call the action sequences breathtaking, especially those featuring the mythical Zodiac warriors.
I can imagine that would be pretty spectacular. Those zodiac warriors from Chinese mythology are pretty visually striking.
Yeah, they each represent a different animal from the Chinese Zodiac.
Right, with their own unique abilities protecting the human and spirit worlds. Imagine epic battles with a tiger, a rat, a snake.
Oh, wow. I'm already picturing it.
It's a visual feast. And Micros Animation, the studio behind The Tiger's Apprentice, they've got a pretty solid reputation.
Oh, yeah.
They did Asterix, The Secret of the Potion, which was visually incredible. They definitely know how to pull you into a world through animation.
So this movie is based on a book, right? Could you give us the rundown on the basic plot for those who haven't read it?
Sure. It follows a young boy, Tom Lee, living a pretty normal life in San Francisco. He stumbles into this hidden world of magic, and that's where he meets Mr. Hu.
Okay, and who's Mr. Hu?
He's the tiger guardian. Tom ends up training under him, learning about magic and his own potential. So it's a classic coming-of-age tale, you know?
Right.
But with that added layer of Chinese mythology, which makes it pretty unique.
Yeah, I could see the appeal.
Yeah.
The MovieKeyTicket.com review did mention some pacing issues, though.
Well, adapting a novel into a movie is always a challenge. I mean, think about trying to condense all those details and character development into a shorter format.
You're bound to run into some limitations.
Right, something's got to give. Sounds like they might have leaned more into the visual spectacle and action, perhaps at the expense of some of the finer points of the story.
Makes sense. Tough choices for the filmmakers. Speaking of tough, this movie didn't have the smoothest production journey.
Oh, what happened?
It was initially slated for a theatrical release, but it ended up on Paramount Plus, Nick.
Huh. A lot of animated films, especially ones with these kind of fantastical elements, they seem to be gravitating towards streaming platforms.
You think that's a good thing?
Well, it could be. It might give filmmakers more creative freedom. You're not beholden to box office numbers in the same way.
Right. You can take more risks with the storytelling.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see if that trend continues. But let's move on to another creative choice, the music.
Right. So Steve Jablonsky composed the score. But MovieGetTicket.com pointed out something pretty unexpected.
Oh, I love it when they throw in those curveballs. What was it?
Well, they actually worked in a new version of Eye of the Tiger.
Whoa, using familiar songs can be a risky move. Sometimes it works, sometimes it just feels forced.
Right. I can see how it could go either way. It'll be interesting to see how they pulled it off.
Totally. Gotta hear it in context.
Yeah. Got to see if it adds to the film or it just feels like a gimmick. But overall, MovieKeyTicket.com gave The Tiger's Apprentice a 3.5 out of 5.
Not bad. What was their reasoning behind that score?
Well, they were really impressed with the visuals and the blending of cultures. But they did feel like the movie could have benefited from a little more depth in certain areas.
So a mixed bag, but definitely leaning positive.
Exactly. With a combination of stunning visuals, a story rooted in Chinese mythology, and the ease of access on a platform like Paramount plus Car, this film might be a sign of things to come.
You're right. Maybe we're seeing a shift in animated storytelling. This could be a whole new wave of movies blending cultural elements with these fantastical adventures, reaching global audiences through streaming.
That's a really interesting thought.
Yeah.
It's definitely something worth pondering as we see more movies like this hit the scene.
For sure.
Well, if you're curious about The Tiger's Apprentice and want to hear that Eye of the Tiger remix for yourself, head over to Paramount Plus Fate. Let us know what you think. We're always eager to hear your perspectives on these deep dives.
Absolutely. Join the conversation.
Until next time.
See you then.